what a response from 100 Thieves. They earned themselves a lifeline as they managed to close out Haven against FUT. I'm Yingsu and I'm back here with Mimi and Achilles. Achilles, for a second, I thought we wouldn't see a map 3, but we got to give it to the mental fortitude of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, being able to run back those last 2 rounds, absolutely crucial from them. But man, did they have to fight for it, which is not something that I necessarily anticipated, given that we were coming into their map pick, given that we saw football spanning this map versus RRQ. But they have shown up to perform, and perform they absolutely have.
It really does feel like a direct repeat of that E2G series for 100 Thieves again. They have a close map 1, they lose out. Map number 2, it looks like they're going to be out of things, but at the last second, some fantastic calls and ideas from Stellar come out to be able to keep the team in it and keep them alive. I mean, if there's a word to describe 100 Thieves this tournament thus far, it has just been their tenacity to be able to stay calm under pressure and come up with these last second calls.
Yeah, and now they're going to have that icebox on the horizon as well, where they're able to at least get that first victory versus EDG, so we know what they look like, but at the same time, that does mean that so do footballers. So maybe we'll have to see if they've been able to counter-strat them, but huge game here overall across the board for the side of 100 Thieves, getting pushed to the absolute brink, but being able to bring it back with some huge rounds, some huge performances from Cryo, who's just getting those excellent snipes, whether it's with the blades or the off.
Again, it's a kind of another moment that is a repeat for 100 Thieves, is their big struggle with this defensive side and with playing the retakes there. The casters were talking about this a ton. FUT is a team that is really good at getting on these sites and playing in the post plants, and for 100 Thieves comp, it didn't really lend itself to being able to play those big, nice retakes that we normally see out of this squad, and that almost meant that the game slipped away from them. So I think they changed things up to the last second, found some course corrections on the way they were playing retakes to be able to win that one through.
FUT must be kicking themselves. They were so close, but in the end, Mimi, Cryo stepped up, had some huge rounds to help 100 Thieves to get over the line.
Yeah, I mean, the round that slipped this game away from them was round 23, where 100 Thieves was on an eco, and they lost because Cryo went absolutely giga crazy on this Jet. Again, Cryo is this guy who will always step up when you put him on this role, when you put him in positions where he has to be pivotal, he'll perform on Jet. Still, we've seen some slower performances from him on other agents, but here on Haven, on his best role, he looked incredibly comfortable and was pivotal to that map win.
Yeah, again, just having that op in his hands, he feels right at home with it. It's just copy over from the chamber, you know? You know how to op. That's the big thing about it. But really impactful rounds there. And like you said, it did take a while for them to finally be able to get those retakes down. But when they finally did, I think it was around 20 was the first time that they really were able to pull one off. That was the breaking point, and then from there, they were able to just go ahead and rack up those last 4 rounds they needed to be able to take this.
I mean, he stepped up when it matters. That's what you want from your star player. On the other side, though, Kiwi, he was also a massive star player for FUT. One of the reasons why they were able to win map 1. It did feel like towards the end there, Achilles, he just couldn't find the same impact.
Yeah, and we were talking about which role does he look better on? Is it the Neon? Is it the Jet? So far, I gotta say it's the Neon, just because of the level of impact that he's been able to have on Lotus specifically. Jet, though, still fantastic stats, but he was starting to get outpaced by Cryo, and that's part of the reason why they were able to slip the net here and get that win away from them.
Yeah, and I think some of the failures aren't necessarily on him playing bad. He had a great game on Haven.
Sure.
In the first half, he was absolutely dominant, but it again came down to those last 4 or 5 rounds where 100 Thieves got their retakes under control. This guy's a tough job in those post plants. He has to be playing forward, fighting deep to try and buy space, buy time in those post plants. And 100 Thieves got a lot better at like sending these KO flash dart combos on pretty much every retake. And he was consistently eating those flashes, getting pinged out in the open and being shut down by 100 Thieves.
A couple of moments of overheating as well. I think it might have costed them. But this is where I'm going to get very worried as we head to Icebox, because Mr. Farland has been very vocal in the past. If they lose a map, they aren't able to bounce back. They're not that team. And they haven't lost a map so far in this tournament. Now they have, Mimi. I don't know how they can pull this back on Icebox.
Yeah, it is going to be an interesting one here, because we have not gotten to see FUT play on this Icebox just yet. Here at the lock-in, we have gotten to see this map out of 100 Thieves. We saw earlier from Bren with his Telestrator. They are really strong at this map, particularly with the defensive side and how they've been playing with this Cryo Omen pick.
I mean, everything now is what it's going to take for them to try to bounce back into this one. I mean, from what we saw from them versus RQ, they were willing to float Icebox as the final map. It was RQ that actually banned it away. So it seems like they should be fairly well prepared to dive into this one, and they have recent tape to watch of 100 Thieves versus EDG, study how they like to play this map, and then try to counteract it.
Absolutely, they do. But there's a lot of pressure on both these teams. For 100 Thieves, it almost slipped away from them. But they've come back, and now is North America's last hope. They have another chance to win this series, to stay alive. But for this Turkish squad, I think they've got to be feeling pretty rough. That map barely slips out of your hands. Now you have to head into a map that's very strong for 100 Thieves. It's going to take some grit.
We are heading into the Prime Gaming agent select here. Of course, as Mimi mentioned, 100 Thieves, they showed that Omen comp already. It was very successful. I'm interested to see what FUT is going to do here. Of course, I don't expect Kiwi to play the chamber here. And they've gone with a fade on Icebox.
This is weird. So FPX was toying with a comp like this, like all the way back at Copenhagen. But I never was a huge fan of this. Is actually something completely different. Both the fade and the Sova in the mix. It means that you're going to be sacrificing the more normal choice, which would be the KO, and also the Killjoy. So on their defense, I think playing mid is going to be challenging. But on their attack, the executes might be pretty strong, right? With those two pieces of information utility. This feels like a comp built for Kiwi to thrive.
Yeah, it's definitely a major change up here. I mean, limited flashes for either team. I mean, basically none there. And then just the paranoia from the Omen as well. So we'll see how these entries are going to go, but I do kind of like the way that they have that double info gather. We'll just have to see if they can put it into practice.
Well, no more second chances here. This is map 3, Saisho and Brent. I really don't know how this one is going to go.
Not sure how it's going to go, but it's gone all the way to the distance. And what was initially supposed to be a stroll in the park here for 100 Thieves, Josh, has been a battle for survival now. Back and forth, pushed to the limits again.
And I think you could have said the exact same thing about their opening match. Yeah. So 100 Thieves have had their backs up against the wall this whole tournament, but they have been bringing out some magical stuff to get them through these moments. Icebox, I'm with the desk. I think of the 3 maps in the series, it should favor 100 Thieves the most. However, I feel like every time I think 100 Thieves should be safe, their opponents turn up the heat.
And there's a big question about this battle. Kiwi was shut down in the prior map. Pro being able to play that Jet. This time he's playing the Omen. Harder to get the same impact, harder to shut him down to the same degree. And all eyes are going to be on this player for FUT.
It is so interesting, the fact that they're playing with the Sova fade. Looking to load utility in to try and push Kiwi onto the most aggressive spots possible.
Waves of that utility. Kiwi was pushed up there, top side of 410. Was a bit being broken, but now a jump peak. Oh my goodness, Cry almost hitting a flick there to claim that kill. Players falling very low now, 1 HP and 2 HP at a captain respectively. See what they can do now. It was a heal offloaded. And Mr. Fallen moving forward. Still 100 Thieves. They're so clean with this one. Needs to be that response. It's down to that 2v2. An upgrade found. Wall going to be falling. Sage Wall is causing a couple of issues. Bang. Rotating it around. Molch out in the open. And he just can't land the shots. So wide. And maybe some signs of uncertainty here for FUT.
24 health remaining on the 100 Thieves players. A light breeze would have knocked them over. That's a really close one. But I think you're going to see a lot of this kind of style. Futbolists looking to try and get extremely aggressive on their opening. And on the opposite side of things, 100 Thieves being happy to just have a couple of players on site and mostly control spots for retakes to come through.
That's been their game plan when they've been playing with this particular composition. Broke down in the pre-show today about how they were using it just so effectively.
I think 7 out of 8 rounds that they won on defense against EDG were retakes.
Right, which should tell you all you need to know. Very happy to give them control of the site.
Yeah, I think if I recall correctly, EDG planted something like 10 times. And of those 10 plants, 7 retake victories. That's a really good retake percentage.
Wipe wall laid down though. Wickerby here for FUT. You can see how difficult it is. You try and play in those default spots, those default positions with the plant, and yeah, that util just comes crashing down onto you. Can be done with a Sheriff. Okay, Mr. Fallen. Noted. Still in the battle, still in the fight.
Yeah, and Bang just looking to run forwards and get one of those confidence kills. And instead, now Mr. Fallen, an opportunity to maybe clutch. He has a lot of time to work with. he would have to find one of these players isolated and land a nasty shot.
It's that gap, doesn't he? 34 health.
If he had the spike, one of these 100 Thieves players might feel like they had to go to B.
Right now, a bit of uncertainty in terms of what angles to watch for, but as he tries to take the fight, it is shut down. So, an expensive anti-eco round for 100 Thieves, losing 3 of their players, but a round on the board.
Yeah, it's going to make this bonus buy have very little bite behind it. I don't think it's the kind of occasion where 100 Thieves want to be forcing.
We shall see.
I'm really interested to see how this FUT comp works on the defense side when they don't have any informational equipment to use for the middle of the map. You know, no turret, no alarm bot, that kind of thing. But that's a long way off. For now, seems hard for Cryo to hold these kind of spots against a Prowler and the drone.
And there was no follow-up there with the drone. It's just using it to put a bit of fear into the 100 Thieves setup. They still have 3 players, at least locked down and anchoring towards that side. This dart's going to do quite a bit, but a drone and a push. Looks like Asuna wanted to try and take some space off of it. He's going to use it to cross.
Yeah, the recon dart and a wall going up is supposed to sell that this was a fake towards B, but 100 Thieves had players there. They had re-pushed B main, so they know that this is ending A. Question is the weaponry good enough for 100 Thieves to actually do anything here?
The walls of smokes. Recon being held now by Derek. The wall goes up, Plant's going to try and go off there. One's really stopping that one, but it looks like they don't have a lot of utility to push him back. This flank now, double play. It's going to be really important. Oh, she wins it. Does he anticipate there to be a second player? He does not. And Derek's still doing tremendous amounts of damage. Left into that 2v3 though. Gun's not too good, and that's a lovely decision to make in the moment. FUT with a double face, double re-clear. Angle watch for, just can't quite nail the shot there. Still Stella. He's got the entire world against him right now with the way it feels, and yeah.
And a great setup actually from FUT at the end there. Once more, if you allow their players to get set up, they look very potent in the post plan. I think that's going to be the story of the rest of this half. Now that we have rifles on the board for both teams, I could see this just becoming an A-site simulator and it just being post plant versus retake. I think FUT will explore the rest of the map for sure to apply a bit of pressure and see if they can find openings. But their composition seems to lean more heavily towards A.
The horn clears quite a bit there, so alongside the drone, just one after the other. It's enough being used. Still, look at this by 100 Thieves on the other side of the map. I mean, perfectly willing to let Stella leave him to his own devices over towards B, but this is a quad push now.
They just missed each other.
Oh my goodness, Asuna!
Oh, that is really unfortunate. It could have gone in either direction because it looked like 100 Thieves had almost missed the timing. But both of those FUT players hit the ground.
And it's all based on timing is what it feels like. Cracks just not watching the angle. Even the call wasn't made, but just didn't anticipate that Stella could be there. And Mr. Fallen, an attempt was made there. All that util being used to clear him out. He's got the crossfire, he's got the heal, but he needs to take a fight, and there'll just be 2 players matching him. Ball down at a captain, slow at his feet, can't isolate the fight in time. And one of the things that we've been singing the praises for this 100 Thieves squad has been how clean they are. No gaps in terms of the spacing. Never really a moment of weakness, it feels like, when it gets into those situations.
But that's also a really interesting round. 100 Thieves going for such an aggro push over towards A. And that isn't something that we've seen from them. On, Haven, they didn't play crazy aggressive, pushing out on defense very often. And I don't feel like I saw that too much in their game against EDG either. I put a lot of focus onto Asuna and the agent that he picked over on Haven. But at some point, about 2/3 of the way through that map, I said he needed to step up and actually showcase the value of the KO, and I think he did that wonderfully. And he's come in here with the same kind of energy. Going crazy in that round on Sage.
Already building up to that res. Deep pick going to be used. This is really hard to get through.
Strange round to use it though, no? Against FUT's economy. Maybe anticipating a force or something?
Does seem a little bit odd, but Dardiu's close, holding the edge of it. Spray down, was hoping that one of the players would be weak and a stray bullet would find it, but instead it's Kiwi.
And Bang evacuates his ult. He allows that to fall, so just trading a single Viper ult for 1 kill in the anti-eco.
Isn't entirely too useful.
But it does mean that Bang retains his life. It doesn't have to overfight it.
His timing's a little bit odd. Horn there pushing forwards.
I like this, pushing past your Viper wall with the utility.
So Kiwi holds close. He's hoping to throw in something a little bit more quirky, and there you go. Bang found. No more Viper for this retake. Updraft play. He was spotted for about a moment, but chooses to just back away and play with the rest of his team now.
And the way that Bang took that fight shows me that 100 Thieves were not ready for Kiwi to be that far forwards. They didn't group up. They didn't have a second player ready to trade. Bang was just walking in.
So here's that res, and now this retake. What have they got for it? Paranoia is not available to them. Watching that one angle still. Up top, good movement from Stella. He offsets that. Kiwi just could not adjust, and with that, what a sage wall down. Yeah, not a chance in hell of them winning that one. They just don't have the guns for it.
Those final few kills from Adacaptain are going to keep 100 Thieves' economy in check, but they're still obviously going to be able to buy this round. It was somewhat expensive, though. Bang using his ultimate. Asuna using his. But it's given them some interesting info, I think. And the info that 100 Thieves now have to play with is, we got to worry about Kiwi. You know, Kiwi was kept under control a little bit by Cryo having a ton of impact on the defense side. But Kiwi's going to be unleashed here with all of this extra Sova and Fade utility. And clearly, Kiwi wants to push and wants to go very hard.
From Derek. That was a deep dart, I believe. Gets a tag at least. Can't quite land the second or third shot, though. He did a bit of damage to Moj.
The distraction, Asuna's used his wall, so he doesn't have that for the retake, using it to block off B. Kiwi, unfortunately, with no updrafts, isn't going to be able to abuse that. Otherwise, might have had a great lurk timing.
This drone is quite nice. They anticipated as players pushed up here towards A, so they get that info now. And Stella's holding this lockdown. As VALORANT does have an ult for it, we'll be able to offset it, but swinging through the back of the side, Kiwi just was not set up to succeed.
I mean, it's a great flick as well from Cryo. I'm not sure he had the best angle in the world, but he's a dangerous, dangerous operator.
And they don't intend to use this Hunter's Fury. They just let in the lockdown, go off here. There's still plenty of time in the round for them to make a play, but it is getting whistled down, approaching that 30-second mark.
Cryo is very pushed up here.
And here we go. Hunter's Fury actually being used to try and initiate into this. Snake bite close. Corner. It's a half clearance. They're not ready for it. Stella does. Only grab the one, though. The trade was good. Now the plan has to go down without too many problems. Still, Night 4 online as well. Do they want to use it? The answer is yes. FUT now pushing forwards and just gets them low enough to decay damage. Setting them up for some easy kills. One shot to the body will do it. And even on that ramp as well, Mr. Farland. Great job getting that kill. Left down to Asuna, re-swing. Oh my goodness, across that placement. Now, down to that 1v1. You cannot be affording 100 Thieves these opportunities. Across the ropes, this guy, the movement, Asuna made a name for himself, being able to weave his way and dodge, but time is running so low, and it's his biggest enemy. Got to tap the spike! That is absurd!
And the king of Icebox makes his return. The movement around the ropes, the way he weaves on this map, it's something else, Brent. He looks unbelievable. What is that from Asuna?
Just sublime.
And I was all ready to praise FUT because the post-plant aggression worked well for them. They set up a 2v1.
But they handed Asuna those easy kills, one at a time.
I mean, easy for him, maybe. I don't see many other players in the tournament getting those. Good God.
He's the kind of player where you can't give him those chances.
And that Sage Wall you've just seen throw down. So they do that a couple of times without Cryo being on top of it. And then one time in the half, they'll put Cryo on top of the wall. So at the moment, it's just a bluff, and it also allowed Stella to load all of his utility on the A site. It's a cool idea. We saw them run it against EDG, and in the one time Cryo teleported on top of the wall, he got destroyed. But for now, it just allows Stella, to focus much more heavily on stopping this eco play towards A.
Yeah. They do have good util. You can see it. There's a slow orb. It was being layered prior to the nano swarms and the shock darts now being used, so it's not being made easy for FUT. Horn taken out, still a dart behind them. There's a Viper's Pit. Looks like they want to try and invest into this round. It's going to take everything. Revealed right below. Stella's trying to bring it to him with the shorty in his hands. That's quick work. Turns Mr. Farland into mincemeat, and the Viper's Pit still up for now, but up top still needs to find these kills. Cracks, okay. That's not bad at all. Still got to deal with a Viper. Mosh picks up the rifle, an upgrade, but just wading towards him. Derek looking like a crab out of the water.
And that's unfortunate too from Modge, because he picked up the Vandal that only had a single bullet in it. I was wondering maybe there was a chance there. Both teams committing their Viper's Pits into situations where they're either so favored maybe it's not necessary, or a bit of an optimistic one, I think, from Modge, but they had chances to win that round. Yeah. I love the shorty usage we're seeing at this tournament.
But it's getting to the point now in this series. FUT have got to be feeling like they've just squandered a prime opportunity to knock out one of the heavy hitter teams.
Yeah, you heard it from Yinsu. Their IGL, Mr. Fallen, he's aware of the weaknesses that this team has.
Yeah.
They ride momentum. They want to apply a lot of pressure, dry swing you, take the fights. But when they are hit, normally it leads to a knockout.
Struggle to get back into the fight, into the action. You're seeing it here. A round differential, 5 rounds standing between them, and it seems like 100 Thieves showing no signs of slowing down.
I do think, though, that Futbolists have still been playing quite well, considering the score. Their post-plan play has not been bad. They had chances to win the prior round, where Asuna clutched the 2v1. But they just haven't quite found the necessary step to push themselves over the line and start getting rounds on the board.
Yeah, it's been so close in many of these instances.
All of the gun rounds, though, as far as I can remember, have ended on A.
Yeah.
And look at those retakes. 5 out of 6 of the rounds at 100
Oh, they're going for it. Cryo's going to TP on top of this with a recon dart.
Yeah, here it goes.
Yeah, so the wall gets set up here in Tube.
So the very prior round, they used it as a fake.
Cryo's
Will
the player to
Futbolists be
watch.
ready?
Wall goes up. TP on top. They are watching for it! That is absurd!
God, I mean, I'm not sure whether you should give credit to the strat there. That is just a bonkers shot from Cryo.
But we're ready for it. They were watching it. But how do you match Cryo when he's in form like this?
Heated up off the back of Haven, hasn't he?
Yeah, that flick was just unholy. And the wall now, res being expended over the top. Another punish. Oh, and a captain. Try to hold it down here. Nanoswarm's going to be broken at least. And FUT, they're trying to take space. They're trying to push up here, but just revealing himself about a moment. The rifle spam is enough to take it down. It's down to Kiwi.
And if anyone can match what Cryo's been doing in this round, it has been Kiwi previously.
Yep.
Modge applying some pressure too.
Yeah, this is throwing chaos into the round, and it can be where FUT can maybe grasp it, but the reload's hurt, I think, in Tube there, so they anticipate a push into Kitchen. Plan starting to go down. Cryo, it's not man. He's just pushing right into them, and he's punished. Pre-fire flick, Modge with the lurk. I thought they were aware of it, but they're not.
I think with Stella falling, they forgot that the turret wasn't active anymore.
He's lucky he didn't cross into that sight line, that one angle, but this round was just an all but lost here for FUT.
It was 3v5.
They have turned it still. Derek, he's got something to say about it. This guy's made a name for himself at prior events for being quite nice in the clutch. Snake bites in the back, force the position, headshots found, and the Viper's Pit's online. Down to this, 1v1. Time running low, Horn's not being broken, but it doesn't even reveal him. Sees as well, gets off at half. It needs to be stuck bang all the way, and he doesn't get it. Cracks, snatches it back away when it was just looking done.
What an incredible 3v5 from Futbolist. Finding those opportunities, Modge in mid, doing a ton of work, finding a backstab and undoing all of this great shooting that Cryo had manufactured, the man advantage meaning absolutely nothing. It's not got quite the same pressure on it as the 2v5 that they lost to EDG, but 100 Thieves are still letting opportunities slip. More aggression though. Asuna taking tons of damage from the shock dart.
It's a lovely little bit of set utility from FUT that punishes that aggressive play for the orbs. They know that Stella's one away from the ult, so pay off, but what can Derek do here? Back at the side with a Marshall, one stray shot. Mr. Fallen has to drop down now to...
And the operator put back in the hands of Kiwi, which makes a lot more sense to me.
Drone for drone. Tags on either side here. It's worth noting as well that buy for 100 Thieves is a bit all over the place. Still opting to buy for next, but they do have some danger behind it, some bite in terms of the weapons they've got.
Moj went for this play before, a backstab into mid, and then lurked up kitchen as the turret got deactivated when Stella died. Now though, the turret gonna spot this out. What's the reaction from 100 Thieves? Stella was going to rotate A, and now he's drawn back to the middle of the map.
He's left to contain this.
But actually, this has made them more worried about the rotate.
Watch for. Oh, pop down, gives us some info, bang! The minerals on him to just hold that angle. Only gets the one though, eventually traded out still. Stinger favorable there. Plant's gonna go down, Moj now being swarmed, surrounded, but every side still gets the one kill. Make it two! Doing the most. And hops right up, makes it easy. Cryo left alone here, no bullets in the clip of the weapon he just picked up, so must-win round for FUT with the amount that they invested into this one, but looking like signs of life from them.
Absolutely. Coming off the timeout. Working quite nicely. I think round 8 is just not exactly, I don't think it went to plan, let's put it like that. But it was still FUT coming out with something wonderful to set their momentum back on course. And now I think the ult status starts to really come into effect. Stella's got a lockdown, but Mr. Fallen one away from an ult to counter it. And Moj, if he gets plant or if he gets orb, is going to make the retake extremely difficult for 100 Thieves.
That early presence shown.
And Cryo's looking for a peek in mid, actually, with the operator. FUT might give him a moment just on a passive angle to start. But
watching it, there's no way he pushes this. You just can't be favored. You got to know that somebody's pushing it, but...
Well, he knows that Moj has been playing in this area the last couple of rounds, so he's hoping to catch the Viper.
Still takes the peek. I mean, this is so risky from him. Wider angle found. And now, starting to see Util flying forwards. Oh my god, the exchange of bullets.
And that's where you see Omen Op not really being favored. He had to take a break there from holding the angle to go and throw a smoke for his players on A. And when he got back onto it, Moj was repositioned.
Did not land that shot, but only the wallbang damage. Now to Util, look at it, sees, latches onto it, and with the snake bite. Derek somehow getting one there. Might just be good enough though. Reveals over the top. That is Asuna, just a bit of running gun off the side. No, still. Helping him out. Down to that 2v2. Still, Viper's pick committed. So Plant is going to be going down without too many difficulties. Asuna now biding his time.
Does Bang get a free one on the flank?
Yeah. And this is a bit of a distraction, I think. Pumping the bullets in so that Bang can get a bit of freedom now as he's trying to meet up with his teammate. Linking back around, there's a deep push, and Mr. Fallen's been spotted. Just down to the Viper, the spam, 20 health. Brought down so low, and he just doesn't know where to look. 180 after another. Too many angles to watch for.
And while it feels like the Viper's pitch should give FUT a massive advantage in the post plant, they just ended up being scared and confused. 100 Thieves controlled every part of the map around them, and it led to some key mistakes. Completely lost track of where Bang and Asuna were. Both of those players going crazy so far on Icebox.
That impact is being felt. As you see that round differential once more. It's 4 that stands between them. It looked like FUT were maybe getting themselves back into this, but these final 2 rounds are going to be where it really matters. The money is not too good. Still, they have that Blade Storm. Kiwi's going to have to play it to open it up, I think, for them. 100 Thieves also answering this. A lot of their players now TP away. That's Hunter's Fury, Derek. Spot is a lot of these players skipping a hop, rotating around, but
a lot of damage.
Yeah, that is a ton of damage. FUT have got noise now. And when is their time to strike? Shot Dart's going to be revealing that they are still loitering this area. Another one used to clear that alarm bot close. Danger for Cryo. Has to smoke. Gets him away from that angle. The one-way though. Surely you don't take this, but he's got the confidence. Starburst across to the side, and he does contain.
That's absurd.
Straight down with the Phantoms.
What a shutdown. That was over in a flash. FUT never stood a chance. Cryo with the most important kill of the round. I don't know how he hits that on a jet, dashing through.
This feels like he should never be favored, but he comes out on top, just that kind of player.
Takes a special opper to be able to make the Omen op work on this map, I think.
Yeah. Don't try it in your ranked games, please.
Moj put in an awful spot here. And take a glance at the economy on the rest of FUT. It is not looking pretty. Yeah. They've been somewhat dangerous in ecos, but most of the time, 100 Thieves have controlled it.
10 seconds left.
Derek's just going hunting, hopping around with the judge.
Yeah, they want this rifle.
Moj is miles away.
I don't know what Derek will be able to do on the long sidelines, but...
We're going to be going into the 12th here, though. And like you said earlier, Brent, I think FUT are going to be very frustrated at the half. No matter which way, whether they win this next round or not, they're still not in a great position to win the series. After on Haven, they had their chances.
And this is the signs of so good. Where you get really tested as a competitor is being able to ignore the past. Focus on one round at a time, the next map only. But it's one thing to say that and another thing to do.
What can you do with 3 Spectres and a Stinger? I think overwhelming the A site, definitely a possibility.
One option, but a slow orb is going to be stopping any pace towards Belt, and it wasn't quite the idea here for FUT.
There's going to be a bit of a fake play here. They're pushing Cryo off the angle, and look at how that draws the rotate. 100 Thieves leaving the A site completely. Worried about mid, for example. And that's partly because the recon dart saw nothing on A. Just, they haven't seen a sniff of Footballist. And that's given FUT the opening.
Yeah, this is a really important timing. Right now, it's up to FUT to try and capitalize because 100 Thieves, the longer they wait now, the more the players are going to start to reinforce this area, anchoring it with their presence. And Asuna just aiming a little bit too high there. Horn has to be broken. Updraft over the top. Kiwi moves his way forwards. Head revealed. Prowler in his face as well, but that's going to be a dart to push them back. Now a snake bite.
The reflank in mid is so good here from Moj.
And Moj.
I think it's going to win them the round.
Yep, the value to be found, and he does claim that kill.
That means no paranoia, no smokes for the retake. That's part of why they're running Cryo and Omen.
Left into this one, 100 Thieves are scrambling, yet still, when the pressure's mounting, these players look like diamonds. And Bang's left to it. 1v2. Players are potentially weak. And FUT just have to double up and find the kill, and that they will. Bang not afforded the same openings that his team has been in the past. So an 8-4 half will be what we see in this final map here of this absolutely unreal Stellar series. Just outstanding from what we've seen in this first half as well, but it's going to do it for now. We'll throw it down to the desk to break it all down and set us up for that second half.
Thank you very much, Josh and Bren. Mimi, it's great to see how 100 Thieves recovered after the second map and continue to pull ahead with the momentum.
Yeah, and similar to their Icebox game against EDG, they've continued to look absolutely excellent in these retakes here, and their game plan with this Omen has continued to work. I wanted to take a look back at one of these rounds, round number 5 from our first half of play here, and this is where you see some of the idea behind this double scout comp that FUT is running. You have a Haunt to go deep, Kiwi contacts up and makes a play past the Viper wall, and it initially works out really well. Bang is caught off guard, but the thing is, 100 Thieves is so comfortable in playing these retakes that it doesn't really matter. You see them pop up that Sage wall, a great paranoia comes out from Cryo, and the whole team swings together, holds FUT back, and utterly locks them into man. Football has really struggled in that half to find a solution to these 100 Thieves retakes, which leaves them in a pretty tough spot at this half.
No, it really does. I mean, great stuff. I mean, but also good from Footballs to see that they are still fighting back. Yes, the scoreline is not fantastic for them. It's the worst one that we've seen so far in the series for them with that 4-8 scoreline at the moment. But we saw them be able to rebound, pick up a couple of extra rounds, especially that one right there at the very end with Maj going on that deep lurk. It's been some really good stuff, and I love to see that they're still fighting back despite what you said, you know, what Mr. Fallen said, saying we lose a map. we're going to bow out of this. Now we're going to take a look, though, at Cracks and Mr. Fallen as we get ready to go for these guys on the defending side.
Yeah, they're both playing on this double scout comp, playing the Sova, playing the Fade, and my question is really, what are they going to be cooking up to make something work in this second half? Because normally, when you play a Fade, you'd expect a raise with it, you'd expect to shut down the plan. Is it just play heavy retake? Is it about setting Kiwi up? These are the questions for me.
It feels like you got to be getting that information early, get a good read on where 100 Thieves is trying to go, and then get those rotations, get those lurks through to be able to punish them. So they get their way into the site. You don't have something like that Killjoy to be able to really flush them out with relative ease. But everything right now is riding on this next half for the side of Footballs. They have a deficit to try to claw back if they want to stay in this tournament.
Well, 100 Thieves, they managed to fend off one team that nearly upset them. I don't know if they can do it this time, but Josh and Brent, they have to if they want to stay in this tournament.
It was looking more favorable for them as we head into that second half because of the round deficit. And yeah, 100 Thieves, the only remaining NA team at lock-in. But so far, they've stepped up to this challenge when they've been pushed to tooth and nail in terms of these rounds.
This pistol, it's a must-win for a footballist, in my opinion. Their comp doesn't look crazy defense-sided by any means. And they also need to keep that mental resilience that Yinsu was talking about, that Mr. Fallen has talked about previously too. It's a bit of a weakness on their team. Keep focused. There might still be chances to beat 100 Thieves yet.
But it starts here. And the Paranoia is going to be pushing out a captain away. The wall's going to be used in response to this one, just to at least remove one of the options available to 100 Thieves when they're trying to scale through. Knife being used, just trying to break this one as well. So far, a bit of an odd wall by Asuna. Not too sure what the purpose of that one is, but it does at least cut off that one side angle. Still going to watch up top.
I think this is going to block a lot of the shock molly combos as well, actually.
Yeah. But with this, the spike is planted, tucked around this corner. I think it's going to be critical for 100 Thieves to try and play close here in this post plant. Can't give up too much space. It seems they've realized that at least. They've got a doubled up setup. The players at foot are starting to swarm into the side. First kill found though. An immediate trade. Not trade, but an answer nevertheless. Still, slow ups now, pushing them back. This is where it could get tricky up close, and my goodness, just like that, the round crumbles away beneath 100 Thieves, unable to withstand that kind of onslaught and pressure.
It's a nice idea for the pistol round. I could see what they were going for with the wall, but I just don't think 100 Thieves post-plan positions had accounted for the fact that they had changed the territory on the map. It didn't look like they were set up to help each other in the same way that we would normally expect from the team, and they got overwhelmed by the foot players, swarming back into the site. Big pistol round, important one, a must-win, and 100 Thieves are going to try and rip it back away from them immediately with a force.
This is a reinvestment, and it could backfire for 100 Thieves.
Definitely. If they don't win this, Foot are essentially tied up just based on the economy.
Yeah, they'll be able to get back into this one. At least in theory. Now the drone clears forwards there. A lot of util being used, and it is a fast play. That's the aim of it. But are doing a good job at their util, just making sure that they can try and slow them down. The Viper wall will eventually fall. And now you can see some of the benefits here of the Omen once more. They smoke mid. It's going to throw some of that misinformation into the middle of the round. Forces the drone out of Mr. Fallen because not really too aware of what's happening.
But there isn't a ton of misinformation because Ada Captain has already locked off B. So they're pretty confident that 100 Thieves are not going for the full retake. Sorry, the full rotate. That means that Foot can keep 3 players over here. However, with the drone seeing nothing, and now the Haunt seeing nothing as well, maybe the defense starts to spread out a lot more. Especially with that wall going down.
Yeah, that's going to signify it, I think. Viper will back up in response. A couple of things off to the side. Looks like it's going to be that double re-push trying to take the fight. Close to them, Cracks. Great play from him. Spectre, a bit of run and gun, but the spike did still go down. Kills to be found, and Asta will get the one in as well. Cryo watching his back. Great swing timing. Foot left in dire circumstances. It's a 2v3. Still winnable. Moving forward, slow up is so good, and they're just lined up. Mr. Fallen, great answer. Shot found and missed there for Derek. Doesn't collect it. Now to defuse. Shock dart misses. Needs to be held all the way through, sticking it through, and there is nothing to push it back.
Yeah, Asuna Cryo did everything that they could there, but the slow orb was destructive to their positioning. Perhaps should have been a bit proactive and tried to find another spot to play in, but that is going to hurt 100 Thieves terribly. They're now knocked back down to a full eco. FUT start to get their economy rolling. They can afford operators. They're going to start to get their ults online. A big momentum spiral that 100 Thieves have potentially opted into here.
They could haunt them. Oh, Derek, out in the open there.
Oh, and he
That was a mistake.
Has to cancel the drone just in case there was somebody to punish. And from football, there was no one there.
Yeah, no one would have punished that, but got to play with caution.
I'd like to see 100 Thieves explore towards the middle of the map a lot more.
Sure.
It's early days in their attack half, but without a killjoy on the other side, you've got to try and find those openings in the map.
It feels like it should just be much more open. Wall placed down, they made a mistake. They have to break a portion of it, yep.
We saw Asuna actually with a couple of bad walls against EDG as well that cost his team 2 pivotal rounds.
And no fuel in the tank for the Viper. Wall still moving forwards, Cryo. Play to be made, he taking the space in his own smoke as well, and they are just ever so slightly crawling and taking away that control of Orange still. Kiwi's there with the operator angle.
Where's the spike
Still
going?
being held. Spike is just in the middle of nowhere right now. And calls are being made for 100 Thieves to try and react and try and adapt to what's being thrown at them, but they're just coming up short.
30 seconds left.
Honestly, it's not even that bad because this round doesn't mean too much, but it's still sloppy and doesn't inspire confidence. Nevertheless, what are these kills?
Sheriff's found! Bang! Has just made this so much more dangerous. And the labored shots here, cracks down to 11 health. Spike in his hands, the plant needs to go off.
A lot of
And
utility
Bang
still.
just taps it. Base to reswing, waiting. It's a patient play. Snakebite on the one side to give him a bit of an opening, but he's got to anticipate this. And cracks, he needs to land a shot, waits for it. Spike goes down, the swing and the swing. Bang, just so unfortunate there, looking away at just the wrong moment.
11 health. Cracks being able to pull that one through. It should never have got that close from FUT. It should never have been close to a lost round, this one. Some great shots being hit, though, from the 100 Thieves players.
Yeah, just from seemingly nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves had a pretty awful beginning to this round. A bad ball. Cryo was forced to make a play, but it's these couple of kills here as Stellar and Bang decide to fight in the same area that Cryo and Asuna had decided to fight earlier on. I think the overall idea of pushing more on your attack is good, but FUT need to be ready for that.
So here we are, round 16. The economy reset for both of these teams, but they do have the guns in their hands.
Look how open mid and B are.
Yeah, there's just no presence there. Not even at the beginning of the round.
I think there's some great opportunity for the 100 Thieves players, be it Bang or be it Stella, to work Tube a bit, especially off the back of some distraction from the rest of the team on the outsides of the map.
Oh, this is good. Drone didn't see Bang. He's taking a timing off of this one. It's still aware. What is that?
Just walking through the smoke.
The Tracer's almost revealing it. They almost set him up for the 1-2 combo.
That's absurd.
He managed to nail that shot. I don't know what to think.
I mean, I said work the middle of the map, but if Mosh is watching that, it's hard for Bang to win the duel. Bang, though, one away from getting his ult online. Interesting Omen ult. That clears out yellow, so they can save some of their utility.
All in the way, though. Got to chew through this one, and with 40 seconds remaining, FUT have no issues whatsoever. We're stacking a lot of their players. That
Hunter's Fury.
Yep, Hunter's Fury. Wall's going to be broken immediately for this one. The players are so low, and Hunter's Fury, where is it? The damage done. Cryo will fall. Spike's still down, though, and they do have that pit. Rez now online. Cryo back in the fight. Is there going to be any spam to this? Is there going to be any punish? Derek, he was at a slide-off angle. And control of this side of the area is going to be so important now to Nano Swarms. Layers to it. He's going to be applying that time pressure. Going to need a miracle. Beaming through all the way and just pre-firing the corners. The angles watched for.
Mr. Farland runs away with his tail tucked between his legs. Big mistake from him in this round, missing that Hunter's Fury onto the plant. Asuna got a free one. And that allows 100 Thieves to get set up into a much more stable position. He's going to get the gun taken away as well. And 100 Thieves are now pretty firmly in control of this.
Yeah, that was such an important one. Like we said at prior, look at the money right now. Look at this situation. Would have done well to fight back in this half. There was openings afforded to them by the way that 100 Thieves decided to play that macro game, but a steady lead now for 100 Thieves, and they have that advantage when it comes to that economy.
A site completely open now as FUT gamble in the opposite direction.
Running all the way down! Cryo's holding that angle alone. Listen, when you're being swarmed by that many players, you give up a rifle.
Whoa, this is dangerous now.
Dash to the side, Bladestorm as well! Kiwi! An absolute magical moment! And that precision has just sailed them through. A thrifty round for FUT from seemingly nowhere, but 100 Thieves. Where was the plan to contain?
Oh, that's amazing from FUT. The overwhelm of Cryo instantly, and then the push off the back of the drone tag. When the drone tags there onto Bang, the response is instant.
No hesitation.
Kiwi dashes out, he has Bladestorm. One of the other players on his team picks up the rifle from Cryo's dead body. And it flips the momentum immediately. So many moments where this has happened in the series so far. A clutch, a thrifty, and the normal flow of the game's turned on its head.
Absolutely. 100 Thieves getting tested in every single part of their play. And FUT rising to the challenge.
Right here.
For a team like this as well, turning up at the big stage. It's 8-4 at the half. It can be hard to shake off the previous map performance. It's hard to forget that, knowing how close you were to knocking out 100 Thieves in just 2, but okay.
I mean, that's a great signal for Bang, isn't it? They have no idea he's here. They've walled him in.
Locked in all the way. Jump peek though. Mosh ready. Discipline. Flick though. How do you prepare for that? Ada Kaplan looking for that re-clear as well to the bottom of tube. This plan though is going to go down without too many problems, and Bang has really started to deliver a couple of issues. Crosshair placement down onto the ground, yet still he adjusts, but there is that double face. The trade is there. Ada Kaplan now doesn't have to worry about too much. With the res online, Kiwi back into it, and it is that 4v4.
Bang has bought them so much time, and Asuna went for a mid reflank. And
Wall in the way, he's just revealed his position completely. I mean, they wanted to go for the extra level of it, but Derek off to the side. Guardian just tap from the gun, finding 2 of the heads. Still 2v2, wider swing, and Stella lanes reigns supreme.
Awesome double face at the end there. Real confidence from Cryo and Stella. I don't know what was going on in mid there on the reflank, but I guess it caused enough of a distraction for the other post-plant players to find their kills. I think Derek's worked wonders there, though, with the Guardian finding 2. These kills shuts down Kiwi and finds a second out of it. How's he managed that?
Salvaged it.
I mean, the player that has just been incredible this whole time on Icebox, though, for 100 Thieves is Bang. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether it's been on the defense side or now the attack side. He's worked his way into positions to take fights and just been dumpstering the FUT players.
Yeah, I mean, it's been real prowess being showcased. I mean, the guy is, like we said, working his way into mid most of the time. He's sitting at 21 and 13 currently.
Yeah.
And he kills to death.
He got a fair few of those on the defense side too, with Asuna just playing fantastically. But on attack, he's there when his team needs him to trade, and he's there to open up space too. And it's, I mean, you pointed it out actually when we were watching him. It's not that his crosshair placement is actually that great, but he still wins the duel. His flicks, his accuracy, superb. And the pressure's back on FUT. They take a timeout and are coming back into this round with a pit to work with and Kiwi on the operator.
It feels like this entire series is just hinging on little plays, miracles almost as well to keep either side into it with the thrifties. And the economy has just been honest the entire time.
Yeah, it has.
Hop over the top. Viper's Pit drop down. That's an interesting one. Falls to the ground, but it does cover enough of the front section of A.
Yeah, just a classic Pac-Man ult.
Yep. Drone as well to reclear. That actually doesn't see anything. 100 Thieves avoided it.
Derek's still got his drone. Could use it to push Kiwi off the op angle or to challenge this pit. I still think it would be a good idea to run a lot of 4-1 defaulting here and have a lurker go through mid, but all 5 players from 100 Thieves balled up, ready to trade out in the pit.
They are making so much noise. Smoke over the top, sets up banging that 4 position. This is still quite difficult.
But now they know there's 3 players here. They've heard a Prowler, a Dart, and obviously there's the pit in front of them. And here's the problem, if 100 Thieves had control anywhere else, they could pivot. But instead they're just moving together as a group. And that is going to slow the reactions down a lot.
Could prove incredibly troublesome for them. That wall is just interesting. There's a slight gap. And they're using it to try and go mid to A around the Viper's Pit.
Oh, this is bizarre.
Hunter's Fury as well. Sets us up to push through, and it's going to clear once more. The common angles, pushing forward, spray down, not found, bang. Use that extra element, pushes forwards, another wall to cut across, and it is pure pandemonium.
But they found out where Moj is.
And it's found, what? A strike. Stray bullet from Derek finding it. Spike not going to be denied, but the position is known. Dash activated. Kiwi finds the kill, dashes forwards, but he's got the most to do. Nana Swan pushes him forwards. Another smoke as well, down to 53 health, and has to save. Has to save. What a difficult decision.
Wow, and what a crazy round for Stella to call. Hey, that is bonkers. Partly, though, they're able to do that because of the Omen in the play. They have an extra smoke that they can use. It's really difficult to run a play like that with only a Viper. But even so, the Omen smoke doesn't actually cover enough. You can still get shot from Boiler or from Spawn, so massive risks being taken there for 100 Thieves to call a strat like that. But the timing just worked impeccably. And the fact that they had so many layers with it, you know, Derek ulting allows the players from screens to swing and get trade kills. Bang goes through the ult. I think, honestly, if Moj finds Bang when he's going through the ult, maybe we're looking at a different round anyway, but everything worked perfectly for 100 Thieves. And whereas I feel every map that 100 Thieves have played so far has been balanced on a knife's edge, they might have just turned this to the point where it's comfortable for them.
That one play. Cooking up all sorts. I mean, obviously, a little bit of RNG at play as well, Derek. Lucky to claim that one, but this is a timeout being used now by 100 Thieves. 11-8 as the scoreline.
And I think partly Mike's might have called this because the previous FUT eco round caught them so unaware. And maybe it's because he's identified some holes in how FUT are playing and feels like he's got valuable input to give. I think there's a number of things that 100 Thieves could do here, but it all starts with absorbing aggression early on. You've got to anticipate something happening. With the way that FUT have been playing the defense side, stacking 4A, pushing, stacking 4B, pushing, you kind of just have to hold and wait for that for the first 20 seconds. Kiwi, though, did save an operator rather than the Blade Storm, so maybe they're more worried about that aspect of it. Either way, 100 Thieves are 2 rounds away from getting to face the winner of Fnatic Furia, which is where everyone expected them to be, but the journey has been anything but expected.
It's been all over the place.
The journey has been so much more rugged than anyone could have predicted for this team, and that is full credit to EDG and now FUT.
Pushing teams to the limit. Those expectations. Now we'll see how they manifest in this round here for FUT, because it's that 3-round deficit. Drone, straight down mid, that saw quite a bit of the attacking side there of 100 Thieves. A couple of players being spotted out.
Yeah, not actually holding anybody to watch for a B push, but there's nobody there. It's only Kiwi with his operator.
Yeah.
And that puts the pressure on everybody else on FUT to win the round, because Kiwi's going to be a long way from this hit.
Viper wall up now. Slow orbit to the back as well as that. Gonna see that dart. Gonna be a wall up, see that plant. Not gonna be anything to try and dissuade that one, of course. No rifles to try and break down the wall. But how do they hold this in the post plants? 100 Thieves have had difficulties with this when the Sage Orbs have been landing on the one side of 410. Dart over the top now, Asuna in trouble. Still, his team's going to hold his back, breaking that utility. Now the alarm bot, that's going to signal something. Pushing forwards, a high-risk play, but it pays off. Kill's still going to be found for them. War going to be blocking the side of this, and 100 Thieves looking so clean.
Kiwi's got to escape.
Yep. Last player standing, he had the operator, but he does not get out alive. At 100 Thieves, they find themselves now to series point, to match point.
They should have been on the wrong end of one on Haven, but they managed to escape and avoid it. Now they find themselves in the controlling part. I mean, taking the operator out of the hands there at the end of Kiwi means they don't have to worry about it at all. They can look at the economy. They know that FUT can't afford one. I think that just means 100 Thieves can be a little safer, or rather feel a bit safer heading into this round. Kiwi is going to be the player challenging them here.
And he has to be the difference maker.
He's got no one to stop this.
Team's tournament life on the line of his shoulders, but he doesn't get a freebie. No easy kills offered. Just a dash to disengage, but does he want to try and take this fight? The confidence is still there. And as the smoke goes up, Bang takes the precise timing.
Bang now one away from his ultimate too if he decides to go for the plant. This looks all knotted up. A nice little bow on it. 100 Thieves firmly in control.
They just have to go through those routines. The wall up, preventing that util from denying the plant. Setting themselves up now in that 4v5. It's FUT that need a miracle. Omen for information. Not too sure where that one went, but now there's going to be smokes at play. And Cryo, he splits up the one side of the site. They're so worried about the flank because of the Omen ult. They're so worried about it. And time is running low. Haunt forwards. Press the advantage now. FUT have really just got to find anything at all. A hope, a dream, a miracle, but 100 Thieves pushed to the limits. And it's just far too clean.
Smiles on the faces of the 100 Thieves squad as they take down another opponent that gave them a good run for their money.
Absolutely.
But FUT just didn't quite have it there in that final map in the final half. A very valiant effort though. I've got to give credit to the EMEA side. They showed what they were worth, but 100 Thieves just seem to have something about them that pulls them through in every tough moment. I'm still amazed that they dodged the match point on Haven. But I think that might have just been an opportunity squandered for FUT. They'll know it when they look back through the game that they had their chances to win here. And for a while it'll haunt them, but I hope it inspires some confidence too as they go back to EMEA. The off-season was so rough for this team, losing to non-partnership teams, etc. But what they've showed at Lock-In should bode fairly well.
Yeah, the potential is there. Just needs to be harnessed, but that is going to finalize the series. And 100 Thieves, they sail their way to that win in map number 3. There were many moments where it was looking more than close. And they are that final beacon, the shining light to represent North America at the Lock-In tournament here in São Paulo.
And they are going to have their work cut out for them. Everyone was looking at the bracket, expecting 100 Thieves to get to this spot. And just savoring the idea of them playing against Fnatic or possibly even Furia. We'll see that match coming up in a bit. And for 100 Thieves, it only gets more challenging as they move forwards. So far, they've been up to the task.
Over the series going the distance. Reveals quite a bit in terms of map pool, the strengths here and there, so it will be a hard task awaiting them, but at least they survive another day.
That's the key at Lock-In, isn't it? You've just got to keep surviving.
Yeah.
This 100 Thieves squad are full of survivors. The individual moments that we've seen from players. Bang, I mean, Asuna's movement in the clutch that he won in the 1v2, sublime there.
Unreal.
And then Cryo putting in work with his Omen operator on defense. The flick shots were just bonkers.
Just insane. One of the questions we posed at the beginning of this, you know, if Cryo isn't playing that Jet, how will he bring it to a player like Kiwi? How will they keep it in check? But the sum of the parts, much more than that. That's what it feels like when you watch this 100 Thieves squad. And yeah, they've been tested, but some part of that, they get tempered, come out on the other side a bit stronger.
We'll have to see, won't we? I mean, this squad is, like you said, the last hope of North America, and they've got high hopes for this tournament. So on the other side of things, NRG have a really close battle, and you look at the 100 Thieves fan there. Those water bottles, I swear, are full of sweat. They were empty when the game started. Everybody that's favoring 100 Thieves in this bracket has to have been sweating in the games that they played so far. They've been awesome matches.
So your match MVP as well have a direct impact and say into this one as well. If you scan that QR code, Cryo, Bang, Stellar, many players you could vote for, honestly.
It's Bang for me. I think it is. I mean, I think that Stellar also had some great moments, some great reads on the game, etc. But to me, Bang is just such a consistent factor for this team. I think he really stepped up when his team needed him today.
Absolutely. I mean, the guy just put up unbelievable numbers. A top frag for his team there on Icebox. But that's going to do it for our first series of the day. Narrow victory here for 100 Thieves. But don't go anywhere. On the other side of the break, we're going to be setting up that second series of the day. We'll see you in just a few.
Switch and repeat of the flow. You feel the beat and tempo. We've got the complete control. Turn up the speed as we go. Switch and repeat of the flow. You feel the beat and tempo. We've got the complete control. Turn up the speed as we go. Switch and repeat of the flow. You feel the beat and tempo. We've got the complete control. Turn up the speed as we go. Switch and repeat of the flow. You feel the beat and tempo. We've got the complete control. Turn up the speed as we go. Switch and repeat of the flow. You feel the beat and tempo. We've got the complete control. 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 We've got the complete control.
You don't have the guts.
Welcome back to VCT Lock In. I'm here on stage right now with the caller for 100 Thieves, who just went through a grueling best-of-3 tournament. Stellar, off the cuff, I want to pick your brain because there's been so much discussion about the change in coaching structure and your calling specifically on how that's impacted. How do you feel like, now that you've had 2 rounds to go through, how do you feel like your calling has evolved throughout the tournament?
I definitely think that we're still doing really good in the mid-round in terms of decisions. I just feel like we need a lot of cleanup in the late round. Obviously, we've seen a lot of 2v5s, 2v4s that we've actually been losing, right? So I feel like we just need to start cleaning up some of the later aspects. I think our early game and mid-game is actually really good right now. And we clean that up and we'll be good to go.
I want to ask you and I, we were talking before the interview started, and you were talking about the fans that are in the arena right now. What's it like? Break that through from a caller's perspective. In a tense moment, in a tense round, you're hearing the crowd erupt. Thundersticks are going insane. What's that like for you in your head in that moment?
I mean, I'm just excited to be here. I've never really played in front of a crowd other than Red Bull, right? So, and that was a great crowd. Everyone was super supportive. It's actually pretty hard to hear the people through the headsets. You can kind of hear the sticks, but it's not that bad. It was more exciting when we actually took off our headsets. I didn't know how loud it was, but I'm just happy that there's people here and they're coming out to support. Even though they're here mainly for Furia, I'm just happy that people are here.
Oh, they were fired up for you guys.
There's a few people, yeah, definitely exciting.
Last question I have for you. You know, there's been so much discussion about the format, right? Single elimination, best of 3. And, you know, as we've talked to a lot of the players and coaches, the general consensus has been this is a really cool show opportunity for the fans to see the teams, for you guys to test some things out. From you and Mike's perspective, what was the goal leading into lock-in?
I mean, I just think doing our best. I think my personal goal is getting top 4 would be a success in my mind, given the format. But obviously every match has been tough so far. Every match going forward is going to be extremely tough. Single limb, we just have to try our best and see what happens.
Yeah. Very last thing for you very quickly before I let you go. Anything you want to say to the fans who are watching here, who are watching at home?
Just thank you so much, whoever came out to support here. Even if you're not here for our team, still thank you. And everybody at home, thank you so much for cheering us on. And I will appreciate the continued support. Thank you.
Congrats again on the win. We're going to throw it back to the desk to break down the series.
Thank you very much, Doug, and to Stella as well. I'm back here with Achilles. And Mimi, speaking of Stella, that man has done God's work. The amount of pressure, Mimi, he's under every single map is crazy.
Yeah, it, again, feels just like that EDG series that they played, where it's a really close game. They drop a map to a team that I think a lot of people didn't expect them to, but Stellar's sound calling and 100 Thieves' great ideas heading into the final map is able to win it out for them.
Yeah, I mean, being able to get that reverse sweep is everything for them right there, and a lot of it was on the back of those calls. I mean, even just going all the way back to that Haven as well, the Cypher play coming out of him on both of those maps realistically, just really great stuff to watch. So a really good head on his shoulders there for an IGL, and helps guide 100 Thieves to this very critical win.
Yeah, and while the first 2 maps I think were defined by some of the individual moments and the calling from both sides, I think this final map of Icebox was defined by the compositions and the ideas coming in, and I think that 100 Thieves did a great job of abusing the fact that FUT did not have a Sentinel in this. You see in that round there, Bang has this read. Because there's no Killjoy turret, there's going to be someone holding that angle under tube, and he's going to be able to go through and exploit it. And 100 Thieves went out in a great post plant. Just the next round down, Bang works his way into Kitchen in the late round, gets a kill, sets his team up to win out in this post plant. 100 Thieves are always a squad that is going to have a great understanding of the weaknesses of their opponent's compositions and be able to exploit it.
Yeah, really good stuff. Really well researched. Weren't sure what we're going to, be seeing from this side of Footballs when it came down to that Icebox, but clearly, even having tape on it, Footballs just couldn't quite get prepared enough to be able to deal with 100 Thieves. It looks like that's going to be a very big target map, I think, for opponents in the future to try to take away from them.
Well, before the break, we asked you guys to vote for the player of the match. The results are in. This was a bit of a tough one for me, but you guys have got... Oh, that is close. That is very close, but Achilles Bang wins it out.
He does, and I think a lot of this has to do very much with that performance on the last map. His play on the Viper there on Icebox was absolutely stunning to watch. He had some great lurk play, some great clutches coming through, and just barely managed to stole away. I kind of thought Cryo was going to be able to get this one, given some of the crazy op shots we saw him connect with. But, I mean, well-deserved either way. You didn't really have a bad option there between those three.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone would have been a good option to choose in that one. I probably would have voted for Cryo, though. I think that his performance in those last two maps was absolutely pivotal for 100 Thieves winning that series. He's great on Jet, and the composition they brought out with the Omen as well. Cryo is still so enabled to be fantastic individually.
Luckily, we get to see Cryo again in the next round, but unfortunately, we've had to say goodbye to FUT, to Esports. This is the team that nobody really knew what to expect, but Mimi, they nearly knocked out 100 Thieves here.
Yeah, I think that this team shattered expectations. They came in, they were dominant against RRQ, had some great ideas there, and had some great individual players. And here as well versus 100 Thieves, playing such a close matchup in a game where they were such a heavy underdog.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the outset, we kind of expected that they were going to be able to take down RRQ. It was really a question of how much further do they go. Unfortunately, it's not much further than that, but the performance that they put up here today shows that they definitely have the capabilities to be able to make deep runs, not necessarily in this tournament, but ones in the future. And this is a team that you can no longer underestimate, that you can no longer devalue as that EMEA region gets ready to kick off, because they look scary.
Yeah, and for the Turkish region, I'm sure that this means a ton to have a team to root for who can come to these international events and perform at a level that they're putting up close games against some of the top teams. So I think overall this is a good tournament result for the side of FUT, and there's still lots of room to grow to be even better than they are now.
I mean, genuinely, I think Turkey across the board can be very happy, because even though BBL didn't make it out, past that first round, they had a draw against DRX, and they were still able to take a cent of all maps away from them. So honestly, this looks like right now Turkish Valorant could be entering a renaissance, so I'm looking forward to watching both of those teams in the future.
Wait until you see the Tier 2 team, Seth. Wait until you see them. I mean,
watch Parla.
Yeah, and Fireflux, and SMB. Just all of them. But I mean, we always get the crumbs of like CNET, Alpha here, but now we have a full Turkish team, I think, like you said, for them to root for, which is very exciting. But what is more exciting is that we still have one more match coming up. It is Fnatic versus Furia. But before we get to that, check out these Prime Gaming post-match highlights, and we'll catch you on the other side. It is the age-old NA versus EU matchup. 100 Thieves, they're one of the favorites in the tournament, going up against Turkey's last and only hope. I can't help but feel like the pressure is all over on the side of 100 Thieves.
The one approach isn't really being smoked off just yet, and now you can see it. Maj just comes through. Whoa. 3 kills, 1v1 situation. Massive performance by Maj. Cryo dodging, weaving, ducking in a double face up, fully blinded up still. Derek, how does he claim that one? And they do eventually shut down the retake. And amongst the salvage, amongst the rubble, it's FUT that are reigning supreme. And Kiwi, he's not messing around. The space being gained, a shutdown in place. 4 kills to take the map.
It is such an awesome start from FUT.
Into the back of the side, it's Kiwi with the most to do, but he will fall. Spotted round the side, enough bullets will do it, and magical stuff from Stella.
Let's go, boys.
Usually gets cleared. He wants to take the fight. There was a stun. The full line there to set him up. Instant answer, and he does still want to fight it. Target punish. Solo takes the fight and rips off the header. Cryo! We're not the kind of team to let this one slip. Right round the side, the classic right click to do it. Asuna, he finalizes it, and that's going to be them saved in this series, bringing it to map 3. Oh my goodness, Asuna!
Oh, that is really unfortunate. Oh.
Might just be good enough though. Reveals over the top. That is Asuna, just a bit of running gun off the side. Nice! Go. Applying that time pressure, gonna need a miracle. Beaming through all the way and just pre-firing the corners. And it's just far too clean.
Smiles on the faces of the 100 Thieves squad as they take down another opponent.
Red Bull gives you wings.